Good morning, YouTube. It is very early for me, but for all I know, it could be your evening wherever you're at. But this video is entitled The Ugly Side of Running an Aircraft Maintenance Side Business. And I haven't decided if I'm going to publish it yet or not, but if I do, I'm hoping you enjoy it. And this would be the first part of that. It is Thursday. I have to go to work in about 2.5 hours. So here I am at the airport trying to finish this 182 before that happens. Well, what does that look like? It's raining and I'm standing in the water while I work. The electrical box is shorted in this hanger, so I had to fix that just to get the lights on. But here we are. So why don't y'all stick around while I'm working on these intake boots and gaskets, and I'll talk to you about what it's like. As for what I'm doing this morning is changing these gaskets and these boots down here. I don't know if you can see those or not, but I'm going to go ahead and get this whole side off. It's just 2 7/16 on each of the intakes runners and then a flathead screwdriver for the grommets. So let's do that. So what does it mean to run a freelance aviation maintenance business working on small general aviation aircraft? Well, for starters, I had to go and work years at a flight school. And when I say years, I mean like I worked 4 years at a flight school, something like that. So I worked at a flight school for like 4 years, got my IA, started teaching. And when I started teaching, 3 or 4 of my clients whose airplanes I had been working on, they wanted to continue keeping me as their mechanic because the flight school I was working for wasn't doing out-of-house maintenance anymore. So I agreed that I would keep working on their airplanes. And what that eventually led to was word of mouth. One person found out about me from one of these people, another person found out. And eventually the word spreads around that you're a good mechanic and you do work, good work. And people start to, People start to call you and ask if you're available. And that's no different than, what happened with this 182 that I'm working on. With this 182, like I said, I worked for a flight school, and while I was there, I met a guy named Lyle, and Lyle knew I was a mechanic. Fast forward 6 years, and I'm teaching at St. Philip's College, and he's one of my students in class and says, "Hey, can you work on my airplane?" And I said, "Yes." And then fast forward a couple years from that, he says, "Hey, let me introduce you to my dentist so that you and your wife can get implants." My wife needed implants at the time, so you can get that done. And then he bought an airplane. So now here I am. And this is my dentist airplane, and I'm working on that. And before anyone gets mad, I have a towel up here. I'm not just setting my tools on the airplane. I've heard that in another video. Don't worry about it. You join me from the truck now because I have to go to my actual job. Which leads me to my second problem, and that's I'm often so busy with scheduling, and it always seems, and I can't be the only person like this, it always seems that I'll go a couple weeks trying to find something to do, right? Because I've got all these airplanes that need work, and I'm either waiting on parts for this one or that one or whatever it is, and then everything all comes in at once. The Bonanza's engine comes back, the 182 needs to get put back together, and I'm sure pretty soon the spinner assembly for the Velocity will come back. But it's like everything always just seems to happen at once, and you do all of this waiting, doing the work that you can do, and then bam, here it is all at once, and everybody wants their airplane done. And that's nothing against my clients. Like they want their aircraft back, and I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to doing the work to get their airplanes back to them. I'm just making the point that like when it rains, it pours, and all of the parts come back at once, and everybody needs their aircraft returned to them all at once. So that can be a little annoying. Also, with how busy I can get sometimes, I've missed a lot this year of family events. I missed one of the train shows that my wife went to with her youngest. I've missed countless weekends with the family. and oftentimes I'll go to church, and then after church I have to go work on an airplane. So I'll miss lunch after church to go work on an airplane, and you end up being very, very, very busy. And I'm not complaining. Don't think I'm complaining about any of this. I'm just telling you the truth about it and how it actually looks and how it actually goes. And that's really the point of this video, is that if you're thinking about doing, freelance A&P work, it's not all Oreos and gummy bears. It's not going to the airplane and hanging out, or going out to the airport on the weekend and hanging out with your buddies. Because a lot of the time I'm actually alone when I'm working on these airplanes, which is an interesting feeling because there's not really any oversight. So you're it's on the honor system to do it right, which obviously I do it right. But there's that. It's not like you're going to the airport and having a good time with the boys. You're just going to the airport to work, and you're missing time with the family, with the kids, with the wife. And I don't know, that can be a little hard to juggle. So be prepared for that. Be prepared to not have anything to do until your kid has a soccer game, and that's when all the parts come back for an airplane and it needs to get put back up in the air. And don't get me wrong, there are certain prior engagements that I've made, like my anniversary or my birthday or whatever it may, or my wife's birthday, whatever it may be, when I just tell people I can't, I'm busy this weekend. When I get back, I'll get to it. And I will say, I'll end this video on a happy note. I have some of the best clients. I have some of the best owners out there. They're all really good in the sense of two things. One, they understand that I have a life outside of working on airplanes, and they understand that I might not be able to get to it right away. I'm not going to be able to get to it right away, but I'm going to do my best. And they understand that, and they're sympathetic to that, and they're not like, no, I need my airplane right now. So I've always really appreciated that from my clients. And the clients that I have, every single one of them has the same attitude when it comes to the aircraft, which is not so much I don't care how much it costs, but I don't care how much it costs. I want it fixed, and I want it fixed right. Now, obviously, they care how much it costs. I'm not going to rip any of my owners off. I'm just making the point that they don't care so much about the finer details and the little parts. They just want to make sure their aircraft is safe, and that's a good thing, because I have worked at an FBO, a flight school, where all kinds of people brought us their airplanes, and I had to deal with a couple of customers who wanted to argue with you when you said, hey man, this thing's not safe, or this thing's actually pretty dangerous. And it was always a big fight with these certain individuals to get them to want to repair their aircraft. And I've been fortunate enough and lucky enough that I don't have those clients. I don't have those guys, and it's made doing the job really enjoyable. So there you go, everybody. I realize I'm in the truck and not in the hangar, but like I said, I have to get to work. So if you enjoyed the video, leave us a like, leave us a comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, join the Discord. As always, go build something, and